Hey everybody, it's 9 o'clock and 9 o'clock is with me, Father Warner. We are in Friday of the fourth week in Ordinary Time. Our text is from Mark chapter 6 verse 14 to 29. It's a very long text. I'm not going to read it, but I'd like you to read it. It talks about the death of John the Baptist, and I'll be teaching it. So it makes more sense if you stop, listen to the text right now, and then listen to the exegesis. I've entitled today's teaching, Sin is a Slippery Slope. Now, naming a child is a matter of great sensitivity. There are names we avoid because of the association they have to everything that is considered wrong. So you don't hear of someone naming their son Nero or Judas or Hitler, and I certainly don't think you'd name your son Herod, especially I think if you're a devout Christian. Now, just about every Herod earned his name into infamy. It was Herod the Great, you'll remember, who tried to kill baby Jesus in Matthew chapter 1 verse 20. Then it was Herod Archelaus who threatened Joseph and his little family in Matthew chapter 2 verse 22. And now Herod Antipas murders John the Baptist. So we need to understand who was Herod Antipas, who is mentioned in today's gospel. Herod Antipas, first of all, is not really a king, but he is referred to as a tetrarch. That term, tetrarch, originally meant one of four rulers, but it came to mean a governor with some limited authority. Now, Herod Antipas ruled over Galilee and Perea. We know this from the text in scriptures in Matthew chapter 14 verse 1, in Luke chapter 9 verse 7. He had a brother, his brother Archelaus ruled over Judea and Samaria, and another half brother called Philip ruled over Gentile territories, which was on the far side of the Jordan River and northeast of Galilee. Now, the tetrarchs were no more than puppets who ruled at Rome's pleasure and were also subject to Rome's guidance. The Herod family tree is both complex and it is rather disturbing. Herod the Great married several women who bore him a total of 7 sons. Herodias is the daughter of one of these 7 sons, and she marries 2 of the other 7 sons, which means that both of her husbands are also her uncles. I know it sounds like The Bold and the Beautiful for those of you who remember that series, but that's the truth. So Herod the Great was also a very paranoid man. We know this because he murdered his wife, he murdered his mother-in-law, and then he went on to murder 3 of the 7 sons for fear that they might try to depose him. And of the remaining 4 sons, 3 of these guys either marry Herodias or they married Herodias' daughter. So that's how complex the family tree was. Now, today's text tells us that everyone in Herod's court has an opinion on who Jesus was. Some thought he was a prophet, others Elijah, and some, including Herod Antipas, believed that Jesus was in fact John the Baptist, who has now risen from the dead. He says that John, whom I beheaded, has been raised. You'll see that in chapter 6 verse 16. Herod, now we are told, has a case of a bad conscience and is perhaps very fearful. While the gospel of today does not explicitly elaborate on Herod's state of mind, it brings back to his mind a memory that he would rather forget. For embedded in it are the character flaws of a man who you'd only call immoral, with a weak and a very wavering conscience, a man who knew what was right but chose to succumb to what was wrong, and that was Herod in a nutshell. Now, Herod, in that sense, could not tolerate a season of open dissent, even from a holy man like John the Baptist, who called out his adultery. To allow John to continue to preach against the immoral act of one who was governor of Galilee and Perea would simply then give teeth to many more voices of dissent, if not set tongues wagging even more, and Herod therefore decided to act. Now, Herod's act of adultery was now compounded by, as we are told in scripture, his grudge that he held against John. With the power that he held, an arrest was no challenge, and Herod's dungeons would do what his now waning moral life could not do, and that was to shut John the Baptist up. But Herod was not the only one, we are told in today's text, who had a grudge. Herodias' very colorful past. Herodias was the woman, his brother's wife, whom Herod married. Her colorful past and a rather colorful present made her also the object of ridicule. And while no one would dare to laugh at her in her face, she was the laughing stock of Galilee. John the Baptist had done more than his fair share of damage to her reputation, and when opportunity presented itself, literally like an adder, she struck, delivering the death blow. What can we learn from all of this, my dear friends? That sin is a slippery slope. It begins with a grudge, it ends with murder. So guard yourself from even the smallest of sins. I want to wish today two of our parishioners, Peter and Amy Chu, a very, very happy anniversary. God bless you. This is one of the most fascinating couples I've ever met. They have 3 wonderful children, and I want to tell you, in each case, the doctors said that their children would be born without a brain, without a spine, without something or the other. Guess what? They have 3 perfect children. They're converts, but they walk by faith and they walk in the light of Christ. God bless you, Peter and Amy, and may you continue to be witnesses of Christ. To everybody else, please don't forget to like this video, share it, subscribe to our channel, leave your comments, and to those who have contributed today to the home run by Lenny and Nadia Suarez in Nuvei and Goa for our children, I want to thank you for your generosity, for your kindness. You can always contact me if you'd like to offer a meal to these children and keep this beautiful house going. God bless you.